Hey guys, it's Adam. I hope you're doing fantastic. Welcome back to Do You Watch Anime? It's a show where I sit down with a guest and ask them, Do you watch anime? And we go from there. And today, joining me is voice actor in such anime as The Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world. And anyways, I'm falling in love with you. Ethan Condon, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Adam. How are you?
Good, good. So, do you watch anime?
When I can, I I tell you, I used to be such a big watcher of anime. I'd
Mhm.
watch, particularly in high school, I'd watch a slew of anime. I used to have a list in Apple's like notes. I used to have a long. I still have it, but like I don't even go through that anymore. Um, man, you start doing this and like you just don't have time no more. All of a
Mhm.
sudden, like you just don't. It's wild.
So, how did you originally get into watching anime?
Uh, I was 15. I was 14 or 15,
Okay.
and I really don't even know what I was watching before that. Like, I mean, movies, sure, but I don't really know what kind of TV shows I started watching. And I think over time, about when I hit 15 or so, like I kind of realized that I already have watched anime. I just didn't know it because
Mhm.
I had grown up as a kid watching Dragon Ball Z, and I just didn't know that that was anime, right?
Yeah.
Um, as well as like even Pokemon, which I'm not like a huge Pokemon fan, but I would watch that. I would watch um, Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z, and then I went to my first convention at 15, and I was like, well, I don't want to be a fake fan, so maybe I should watch something else. And so I started up. I'd finished the first season of SAO because that was all it was at the time, and
Mhm.
I was watching Fairy Tale, and that was my favorite anime for the longest time.
Yeah.
And I watched a couple of other Blood Plus,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, Blue Exorcist before it was dubbed, right?
Mhm.
And then I went to my first, and then just from there, it's been too many, too many. I don't know how much I've watched since then. It's been a lot.
Yeah. So, what are some of your favorite anime?
Phew. Well, Fairy Tale's still going to be on that list. It's
Okay.
definitely still going to be on that list. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I love JoJo's.
Okay.
Um, and then, oh man, favorite anime. That's tough. Like outside of those two, it's always so tough. There's normally like so many good stuff, and normally I feel like I'm on kind of a rotation of like what is absolutely amazing to watch.
Mhm.
Um, but right now, and it's been this way for like a couple of months, and some change. Blue Lock is 100% what I've and I said months, more like years, bro. I love Blue Lock. I need to
Mhm.
read more of the manga, but
Yeah.
Blue Lock's probably it.
Hell yeah. So, what is it about like JoJo's that you love so much?
I think with just how different it is, there's and how I mean, not everything, but a lot of what is like, what would you say, dialed in on or really scrutinized or really gets like a lot more of attention is the shit that doesn't matter, right?
Mhm.
Just the real details, and they have some guy narrating over it, right? And he's like, the way he breathes is a different technique. And it's like, we don't care, but we love it. We love that
Yeah.
shit. And because I mean, I think the only other anime that I think that I can like just off the top of my head come up with that even follows a similar path of monotonous f- funny stuff that we like is probably Baki,
Yeah.
Baki Hanma. Um, just like just things that don't matter, but that's what we love so much about it, and how bizarre, how awkward that these adventures get.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of anime that do things like that, as well as the art style and how it changes over from parts 1 to part 6,
Yeah.
and it gets a lot more realism, right? But I love part 1 through 3 is like some of the most goated parts we have, with the exception of part 7 when it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love that stuff. But
Mhm.
I think that's what really drew me to it: the art style, the crucial details that Araki pulls out of nowhere. Starts talking about the golden ratio. I'm like, what are you talking about? This guy's great. And I've been reading his book. He's not his manga. He wrote a book that talks about how to create manga. But he wants people to, even if you don't mess with manga, he wants as many people to read it because it can be applied through a lot of different things, and something he calls the golden path. I won't get into it too much because I haven't finished that book.
Mhm.
But I just think the uniqueness of it is what has kept me always a long time JoJo fan. I even
Yeah.
have a tattoo. I
Oh my
have the
God.
star birthmark. That's the only tattoo I have too.
The amount of people that I know that have that tattoo, or like a JoJo tattoo, and they're like, "This is my only tattoo."
No way, chat. No.
Like legit. Like, okay, yeah.
My hair's in the way.
Yeah.
It's like the same one.
Yeah.
It's the same shit.
Yeah. It's always my favorite thing because I have like 1, 2, 8 anime tattoos.
Nice.
And whenever I'm like in real life, people are
Mhm.
like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just I just have a giant Deku on my arm." Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or like, "What's your favorite anime?" And I'm like, the one I have plastered on me."
This one. This
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard to pick. I mean, I almost thought about saying Cyberpunk Edge Runners because
Okay.
it's so good. I love
Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing for like the 20th time Cyberpunk 2077, but I never played Phantom Liberty, so I'm playing
Okay.
through that right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get it. I'll stick with JoJo's.
But yeah, I love the fashion in JoJo's as well.
That
Oh my
too.
God. Oh, like
I
that
have a
man. Oh
it's so interesting where he pulls not just fashion but the poses. I mean, they're all like, not every single one of them, but like they're Vogue,
yeah.
they're just absolute supermodel poses that come out of nowhere. um and then the idea of which we sometimes we see it in the dub. It's kind of hard because of copyright, right? But we see the naming system for the stands and whatnot. Like in part 5,
Yeah.
there's a stand called Green Day, you know. In part 7, I don't know how they're going to do it, but we have Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Probably not going to be called that. They're
Nope.
probably just going to call it D4C.
Yeah.
They'll probably just stick with it because that's fine, and that'll be good. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're right. The fashions.
Oh, like even before I
Magnifique.
like knew what JoJo's was, I was like, "Ooh, this is really like I love like any anime that like kind of piques my interest in fashion." I'm like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
in. Like so good. Like the 90s Sailor Moon
Yeah.
anime. Oh my God.
And it's which you might even draw it back to like Studio Ghibli
Yeah.
and how, because obviously there's a lot of bizarre stories.
Mhm.
And some of them are Japanese folklore, like Kaguya, I think is an old Japanese folklore
Yep.
story. But even some of the old the fashion, since they have their very I think most, I don't quote me, I haven't seen all of them, right? But I think a lot of the more popular ones are typically based around the early 1920s, sometimes 1940s, just depends on where you hit. But still, they always have such style and very gorgeous colors. I love it.
Yeah. So good. Um so moving on to roles that you're in anime.
Oh yeah,
You
I do like
voice. Oh yeah.
occasionally.
You voice Tago Asagaki.
Yeah, Togo. I love
Yeah,
Togo.
aka Red in Red Ranger. How was it going full like Super Sentai in like
That was
as an actor? Like
I I was I as part of me wants to say that it was it really didn't take much for me to get into it, and I would say that's half true.
Mhm.
I grew up not watching Sentai but watching Power Rangers right here in the States, so I loved Mystic Force, SPD, Dino Thunder, right? I grew up with those, and I watched a little bit of Wild Fury, but anyways, uh, I knew exactly when I got that audition how I needed to do this character. I just knew. I knew he needed to be very over the top and zany, uh, which is funny because that's like I eventually looked into his character and like what he's about after I had gotten the role,
Yeah.
and he actually like canonically is, for whatever reason, like one of the only characters that talks the way he talks. Like the rest of his team in the Kizuna Five are like, you talk like a cartoon character, and he's like, I know, like that's what I'm all about. Like it's very funny because that's part of the humor into it. But get it like going full out in that way. Um, it took me, I think maybe probably just the first episode. After the first episode, I think I really was able to sink my teeth into this character. I know a
Mhm.
lot. I know, and I don't necessarily mean to bring attention to it like this, but I had seen after the first episode some critiques about some critiques about my performance, which is fine. I it's every no, you're not going to please everyone, right? And I think some people also forget that like I'll do takes, but they're not always accepted. We might do 20 takes for a line. I don't think I've ever done 20 takes for a line, but I'm just saying we might
Yeah.
go through quite a few takes before we get something that a producer and a director's happy with. And certainly, first episode, I felt like I did what I needed to do on it, and only improved since then. And funny enough, episode 12 is out today. It's out
Yeah.
now, the finale, and left it all in the booth on that one. That was the absolute like locked in acting on my part, uh and much different from the first 11 episodes of this high energy um character. And it was a blast. It was an absolute blast to do it, and an honor to be a part of it and be trusted with that character, and my first lead like that. So I loved it. It was I couldn't have asked for a better first lead. It's amazing,
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Straight up. When so I watched the first episodes when it like came out like in Japanese, like because I was like, this is ridiculous. I need to see what this is. And immediately after the first episode, I was like, this needs to be dubbed like yesterday. Like
Yeah.
I need to see this, and like I need to see how someone takes this character and makes, because it is a ridiculous premise.
Oh
Um
yeah,
yeah,
it's a good
like,
twist on the isekai.
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So good. So what was your favorite part about playing a character like Red?
Ah, I think my favorite part was um when he isn't himself, when the mask slips, which we see I think maybe three or four times throughout the series. Those are some of my favorites, just because they're unexpected. It's a bit of a switch, and I like for the audience to almost be caught off guard, like, whoa, hang on, what was that? Um, because he's already at least in the first three episodes, you are, as a watcher, you are almost over the gimmick of it. You're just, this is what we're watching. Um this is the Red Ranger. Cool.
Yep, yep.
This, oh, he pulls out his new weapon. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, we're on track. Everyone else is freaking out, but you're like, no, I'm on pace.
Yeah.
And he's this happy-go-lucky character, and then he just all of a sudden, don't ever save me like that again. He's all
Yeah.
real serious, and I it's funny. So the director, Lee George, good buddy of mine, he the last character he had for me, the character before that was a guy named Jade Lordost from an anime that has a very long title, but it's called I was reincarnated as the seventh prince, so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability. I played two characters in there. I played Jade Lordost as well as Gisarm, and without spoiling it, those two are very different personalities, and so he's kind of like Red, where he's all the way up here, he's having such a good time, and then by the end of it, like I am so low and gruff with him. It's almost jarring if you just like skip through and you haven't seen the progression of it. But I think those are my favorite times as Red is when the mask slips off, and transformations, right? Transformations. If I'm calling out any of my attack names, Burning Keys in a Punch. That's probably the one I nailed down the most. Burning Keys in the Punch. Yeah. I think those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Those three.
I love that. So when you got cast as Red, what was kind of your reaction to being cast as a main character in an anime, let alone Red Ranger?
Dude, so I was sitting, I was on the phone with a friend of mine, and I was at my full-time job, and just like I was finishing stuff up, work was done, right? I was just finishing some stuff up on the computer, and my friend and I were just chit-chatting, talking about whatever. I don't even remember exactly. I'm sitting there topping. Yeah, looks good. Yeah. And then my email buzzes, right? And I look down, and it's from who we normally receive emails from, which is always like, I've been doing this for about a year and some change. And so in the beginning, like your neurons fire immediately when you see that email address, right? And they still kind of do for me. They still do. But at this point, like sometimes I know it's going to come, so I'm good. But I saw the title. It was Red Ranger, and I was like, whoa. And so I looked into it. And by the way, are you cool if I curse on your show?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I curse a lot.
Do I.
Yeah, I curse like a lot, but I obviously can turn it off. But like,
No.
I looked down, I saw that, and then I clicked on it, and I mean, I knew immediately. It was like, you have been cast as the Red Ranger. Wait, are you willing to accept? I was like, you fucking bet. I realized that. Let's go, bro. I like stood up, and my like area that I was in, the room was like empty, and I took like 20 laps around it, just like 20 laps, like no fucking way. I was freaking out big time. And my friend on the phone, she was like, what is it? What happened? And I was like, I can't even tell you. Like, it's like, I just booked something and it's great. And I can't tell you, but I don't know I don't know. I can't say anything. And then as I think the initial reaction is the fact that I booked a lead and that I booked something that I auditioned for. I'd never done that before. That was actually my first role I ever booked from an audition. That's a little. I don't think that's a secret. I think I can talk about this, but sometimes in not just anime, but just if you're an actor, period, you don't necessarily audition for a show. Director just picks you because they know what you do and they like you. And in the past, that's all I ever got was just a director picking me and being like, "You're good, let's go." And this is the first time I actually sent in an audition, book it, and that was my initial reaction of it. And then as like a day or two go by, and then eventually the announcement happens, which was it was Saturday, the day before the first episode dropped, and so much support, which made it sink in for me. And then there was a what's his, I don't want to mess up his name, but one of the OG Rangers responded to that casting announcement. Philip Andrew,
Holy
right?
shit.
He voices or not voices. He plays the Silver Wolf Ranger from Power Rangers Wild Force.
Yeah,
and he just gave me like the welcome to the Ranger family on yeah.
Oh
that
my
was
god.
I freaked out of that. And then he followed me on everything, and I was like, that's wild, bro. That's crazy. So then it really sank in, it really sank in for me that it's like, yeah, dude, you're like, you like I said, could not have asked for a better first lead. Could not have
Yeah.
done it. And it's been amazing. It's been absolutely amazing.
Hmm. And so when you were like getting used to playing Red, did you take any inspiration from like outside media at all, or no?
Yes, because I not only did I like think back to what I would hear with Power Rangers, right? I
Hmm.
also wanted to do my due diligence with Tokusatsu and Sentai itself, and so I watched a bunch of different, particularly the transformations. I think the transformations were the big thing that I was like, let me nail this part.
Yeah.
I need to nail this part. If I don't nail this part, I'm missing something. Because I mean, obviously as an actor, I can always get better, but like I know how to get this side of it. Let's get this side of it. So, I watched like a 5 hour compilation of of like the transformation on different henshin devices. Um, and obviously with it all being in Japanese, what I was looking for was the energy,
Mhm.
and how they hit certain strides, certain cadences, tones. Um, and that's where I pulled a lot of that from, as well as whenever it's a joke, but it's not. Like, it's funny to me, but I take it seriously. The when he talks about friendship and bonds all the time, like I have a running joke about Natsu Dragneel from Fairy Tale, because he's the same fucking way.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hurt my friends. And so that's the running joke. But unironically, I play a character who is like dumb and hot headed, just like Natsu. Although we don't really get to see Togo's like hot headed side.
No.
He's just he fires his thing, but he's not really hot headed. But he's the same way of like, you're not gonna hurt my friends, and
Yeah.
doing that same shit. So that was also some outside media that I certainly um, had in mind as I was
Hmm.
doing some of these lines, depending
Yeah.
on which one it was.
Hmm. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I when I when I first watched the first episode, I was like, this is incredible. Like the
Thank
just
you.
the oh, just so on point, and I just oh,
Mhm.
so
I
good.
appreciate that.
Yeah. So how would you pitch Red Ranger to someone who hasn't heard of it?
You like, hey kid, you like Power Rangers? Oh, yeah, yeah. Hey, why don't you watch some real Power Rangers? No, I would, I would, it's certainly, I always tell people like, because everyone's so, especially if you've watched anime for so long, you're
Mhm.
like, oh, here's our new season of isekai, which not all of them are like that,
Yeah.
right? We've seen a lot of really like out the window standard, um uh what would you say, storyline with isekai. Like, I mean, we had like In Another World as a vending machine. I don't even think I said that title right, but
So good.
yeah, vending machine, right?
Yep.
There's that one. We have Jobless Reincarnation,
Yep.
which really threw that out there, and it's really good. And it's kind of funny because it actually does follow a pretty familiar format, but just, I don't know, just makes that extra step, I think,
Mhm.
which people, including myself, have really enjoyed. It's
Yeah.
great. I love it.
Mhm.
Um, but we have so many of these different isekai that have that come out every season, and clearly people like them. But my whole thing is, if you want something refreshing, right, you need to take a look at this, especially if you like Power Rangers,
Yeah.
Sentai. You need to take a look at the. If you loved Go Go Loser Ranger, you should probably watch Red Ranger Isekai. Um, and that's typically, I really don't try to I don't try to oversell my show. Because I want to be genuine when I'm ever telling someone about this, but I enjoyed it before I got cast. I watched the first episode of when I was auditioning. So I
Mhm.
didn't know, or I believe I did. I saw the sub before I actually um recorded the first episode, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Um so that's typically my pitch, is like, it's an isekai that doesn't have a harem, and it doesn't have a harem. So if you dislike harem, great, this is yours. It's got not just a great main character, but a fantastic supporting cast,
Oh yeah.
especially for the dub.
Mhm.
Bro, my cast is
Oh
insane.
my god.
They're insane. You got Natalie Van Sistine,
Mhm.
who's in My Hero, as well as Spy Family as
Yep.
your. You've got Bradley Gareth, who is I love that dude. Bradley and I, we go away. He's in Blue Lock. He's in Persona. That dude's insane. He's a super versatile actor.
Mhm.
You got Bryn April, right, playing Teltina. I loved her in Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
This is what I really liked her from.
Mhm.
And we have several other uh should we have Bruce R. Elliott in there as the butler? Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. We talked about Fairy Tale. I was like, why? I can't get over that because I grew up with Fairy Tale, bro. I love
Yeah.
Fairy Tale. I love those Makarov and then even some newer talents that are, I say newer, they're about as some of them are been doing this longer than me, but we had Nassim Benelkor in there.
Yep.
You had Connor Allison, who
Mhm.
he voices Vadon, and he just booked his role in Black Butler,
Yep.
Emerald Witch, which first episode's out now.
Yep. Go watch
Plug.
it. Yep. Go watch it.
Connor's amazing. I love
Yeah.
Connor.
Yep.
But yeah, that'd be my pitch.
Yeah.
Is to talk about everyone else's shows. No, Red Ranger's great. I don't mean
Yeah.
it like
Yeah. One of my favorite parts about Red Ranger, and I felt it from the first episode, was that usually in isekai they kind of mold themselves to the world,
Mhm.
and Red is just like, fuck you, I'm just gonna transform in front of people and just
Screw it.
blow everyone's minds. And I will never get over, like, by episode I was like 8, like that,
Oh,
him transforming into people was like, okay, I was thinking that I was gonna get, tired and true,
of him always doing the
yeah, yeah,
transformation.
but I
Yes,
always laughed. I was like, this is so
it's great.
ridiculous. It's so great.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
actually
god.
glad that it wasn't some, because I know a lot of people had that concern. Like fans had a
Mhm.
lot of concern. I was like, are we just gonna keep seeing this motherfucker like always do the burning brightly? Like, and I was like, wow. I mean, we could do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times I did that line.
Mhm.
Not many. I think
Yeah.
like 6. I think like 6 or 7 times I did it. I
Yeah.
don't think some of them were like 2 in the same episode. Hell, I think I did it like 3 times in the first episode.
Yes.
I think I did the first time, and then I do it again, and Idra gets like flown back and almost dies.
Yep.
I don't
God.
know. It's a lot.
Oh, so good. So how was it going from Red, who is yelling a lot, to voicing Saito in Any Ways I'm Falling in Love with You, which
Yeah,
is way more grounded and just like a real person?
that was and I tell you, I feel bad because I try to always broadcast or advertise the stuff that I'm in.
Mhm.
But I will just be straight up. I was way too locked with Red Ranger, like where I just I haven't even finished that show. With Anyway I'm Falling in Love with You, I'm
Yeah.
on episode 3, and so far it's been amazing.
Mhm.
One of my good friends, Mauricio Ortiz Segura, he voices the lead. He voices
Yeah.
Kizuki, and they like, I love it. It's so
Mhm.
good, and we have Kizuki and Saito have a lot of interactions together, as well as it's Mizuho. Yeah, Mizuho, the main character played by Maganda. And her and Saito have a lot of interactions together as well. And going from, I'm not even joking, I would go record Red Ranger, and then I would come, and then right after that session, I would go record Anyway I'm Falling in Love with
Oh
You.
my god.
And so it would really be like, all right, Idra, to, hey, Mizuho. Hey, what's going on? And luckily, like, he's not vocally straining. He's
Yeah.
my speaking voice. Just
Yeah.
I just have to not be so hick. You can hear it in my voice. I'm from East Texas, so like
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm a very country boy, and like I have to flick that switch when I step into Crunchyroll. I'll go in, and I've gotten better about not trying to hide my accent, but I go in there and I'll be like, "Hey guys, how's it? You doing okay? Yeah, okay, good." That's not normally how I talk, but yeah, that the stark contrast. One might find it challenging. Sometimes it's like, phew, thank goodness, because you just got done really straining your vocal cords for 3 to 4 hours, and then you go and finish it up with like a light talking session, because it's not a very vocally demanding show, at least not for Saito.
Yeah.
Bro is either annoyed or content.
Yeah.
I said, and I was saying earlier, I feel bad because I didn't really advertise that show, but it's been nothing but amazing. I talked about it in the last podcast that I was in, and I was like, it's great. I'm only on episode 3, but it's been amazing. And I mean, especially if you enjoy romance, like if you like romance anime, dude, this one's really good. I've enjoyed it. The cast is amazing.
Oh my god.
I can't remember everyone off the top of my head, but I know you have Belle Rusop Jr. in there. You have I mentioned Mauricio. Is Landon in there? I don't.
That's a good question.
Is it Landon? No. Anyways, I'm just saying you have, and you can tell this is how I haven't watched all this quite. I mean, you have a really good cast, and it's been cool going back to watch that with Anyway I'm Falling in Love with You. It was very fun. I feel bad that I didn't advertise it as much. I feel bad. I wasn't on purpose. It was purely like I am locked in this Red Ranger stuff right now, and I am like trying to make sure everything's good for the next episode. Like, and I'm from the acting standpoint, because I was very in my head about a lot of that role. I wanted to make sure I did it right, did it justice, and kick its ass. I mean, that's how I've always felt about any of my roles that I have. Even with Saito, I mean, I found that it was a lot. I didn't seem to have to worry so hard. I mean, I always give 100% in there. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying. It seems like gosh, I'm losing my train of thought with who the director was. Why don't I remember? That's gonna bother me, because she's amazing. She's an amazing director. She also did Vampire Dormitory. There was another one that I was in with her as well. There's a couple. I've worked with her a lot. Helena Walsh.
Okay,
Sorry, yeah. And it seemed that I didn't need much correction with it. We didn't need very many takes. We were able to be pretty happy with what we got. So, seems like I didn't have to strain very hard. But again, it wasn't a very vocally straining role. But I think with Saito, that was exactly how he needed to be. He needed to be very, I don't know, just not. He doesn't need to express too much. He likes to kind of keep his words either straight to the point or just simple, to where it's like, I've said it, it's done, and that's that, and a little competitiveness with Kizuki, because after he kind of gets over him being bummed out over the swim meets, he's like, actually, I like Mizuho now, so get wrecked. I'm gonna swim for her. Kizuki's like, don't do that. It's like, I'll beat your ass, bro. Don't do it.
Hi, I'm Steve Yurko.
And I'm Tara Sands. Now available from Maji Media is our new podcast, 4Kids Flashback. 4Kids is the company who brought you the English dub of Pokemon in the late 90s and so many other shows like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Shaman King, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kirby, the infamous One Piece dub, and so many more.
We'll be talking to the people who worked at 4Kids. Actors, directors, writers, editors, producers, engineers, you get the point. And hopefully get the answers to questions both you and I have about the company.
I actually worked there as a voice actor on some of the shows.
And I was a kid watching the shows and remember way more than Tara does.
And thank God for that. Steve is actually a professional storyboard artist, which gives some really unique insights into anime and animation. Subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts. That's the number 4 Kids Flashback.
Hey guys, welcome to the Patreon portion of today's episode. And if you want to join the Patreon, there are a few different tiers, like shoutouts on the episodes, as well as exclusive videos and behind the scenes content and so much more, and even the episode a day early. Thank you to Gio, Keith, Blythe, Bunny, Mikey, Sheba, and Brooke. And if you want to join the Patreon or find out more, the link will be down below. And yeah, back to the episode. Yeah, so because Red is such a kind of, you have to be on, right? Was it hard going from Red to Saito, just kind of the calmness, kind of calming your voice down, or was that just okay?
No, it's like a switch.
Yeah,
it's like a switch. I would argue that it would almost be harder to, if I did it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been a little harder if I went from right down here, everyone's having a great time, to just fucking way over the top. Because I do, when we start, when we would start an episode of Red Ranger, typically it's like the first maybe 10 cues. The first 10 cues we might redo more often than the last however many 100-something cues we have.
Yeah.
Because by then I'm in it. I've warmed up into the character, and so vocally and it plays itself out. But yeah, going from how I normally would, because legit, I only ever did it where I would do Red Ranger first and then go do Saito, and that was a lot easier to come down, even especially when my voice was thrown out of whack because I just screamed my head off for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it was not a challenge. It was very nice. It's like eating a piece of candy, after a hard day's work.
No, that's
Something
good.
Like that.
Yeah. So how did you originally get into voice acting?
I've been voice acting since I was 15.
Oh, wow.
I'm 25 now, and the complete origin story, I don't remember the details. I just remember that I always had an interest in making content in some way. I've always watched YouTubers. I always liked playing video games and watching not VTubers, those didn't exist. YouTubers, and just seeing the content being made, and a lot of stuff I would hear was voice impression related. Always voice impression stuff. It'd be Peter Griffin plays Black Ops 2. I'd be like, that sounds awesome. Holy crap, I just hit a quick scope. It'd be stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, that's great. I love that stuff. And as you can tell, I did try and learn a lot of these impressions.
Mm-hmm.
And so it all started with impressions, right? But I didn't consider that voice acting. That was just kind of where it started, where I was like, oh, I can actually voice some of this stuff. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I'm not really gonna rep it, but way before I was doing any of this, I did this parody video, and I played. I don't even remember the character, but the character had Peter Griffin's voice, right? And I did that, and that was kind of some of my first voice acting stuff. And then just I kept doing stuff online just over time, small projects here and there. Most of them fell through, and that's something, as if you're an actor, whether it be on stage or in voice acting, this very well. You're going to hear a lot of no's. You're going to hear more no's than you hear yeses. So it's just kind of something you have to understand and just fucking get used to, and take it in stride. Don't worry too hard about it. And then 2022, is where I believe it was 2022, end of 2022 into 23. I said, you know what? I'm gonna try anime. I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try to get into that. I don't know how to do it right now, but I'm gonna try. And I looked into it, you know, a lot of shit to do, and just kept pursuing, kept asking questions, kept trying to get better. And by, at this point, like I said, it was in 23, so I already had at least the experience of it, not to the professional level, but shit, over 8 years, right, of experience on it. And eventually I found the path, the golden path, right, if we're going to quote Araki, and got in front of the people I needed to, and eventually in 2023, October 17th, 2023, that's my birthday, I got called in. Yeah, on my birthday, I got called into Crunchyroll for my very first show, which was MF Ghost.
Oh my god!
And that's the sequel to Initial D. And did some bits for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the start of it. That was the start of doing it professionally. Then I got nothing for like 4 months. It was great.
Yeah,
it was great. Yeah, and then 2024.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great year. It was a great year for me. I did a lot. I did quite a bit, and then now we're here, and it's been crazy. But yeah, the start was just purely, this looks cool, and I like YouTubers, and I used to think that maybe I could be famous. I used to have such a weird, not weird, just immature idea of like, I don't know, of what makes you kind of a weird idea of worth, you might say. I don't have this opinion anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was a kid at the time, but yeah, I thought like, I'll be famous, easy. That's what I'll do. Nah, bro, we just make good shit and make good content and let that speak for itself.
Yep, exactly. I understand that. So what was it about the kind of acting side of voice acting that got you to kind of try anime and like?
It's well, I tell you, just to give you some a preference, or not a preference, sorry, but just to give you kind of an idea of kind of me with this, is like I don't have like a lot of, I don't want to say it like this, I don't have a lot of experience in acting. I don't know if this sounds almost like counterintuitive what I'm saying, but like, I've done this on my own. I have taken maybe like 5 classes ever in my life of an acting class. I never did theater, like in middle school, high school, never did theater, never had an interest in it. Nowadays I'm actually quite of a different opinion, and I might look into some things, but I just never had any specific acting courses until I started thinking about anime. That was when I was like, well, I have some experience that I've learned through trial and failure, but let's see what I'm missing. I need to see what's going to be the next step for me to get that anime level of acting, which I didn't know exactly what that was. Like, I mean, I watched anime, but I mean, especially if you're just a viewer, I mean, you're watching it, and if it's a good show, which but 9 out of 10 times you're watching it and you're enthralled and you're enveloped in the story. You're not thinking of the performance. You're not sitting there going, oh, the way he said that really didn't. No, you're not thinking of it like that. You're looking at the story and these characters, but now for me, I don't see it like that anymore, unfortunately. It's legit just, let's check this performance out. So but yeah, these classes that I took, and I took one with Kiba Walker, and that dude's amazing. He just booked, I think he just announced it today, but he's in the new anime that I think is out. I don't know where it's out on. It's called Max. It's on Max. It's called Lazarus.
Oh yes, yes.
And that's set to be a bad to the bone. It looks cool. If you like Cowboy Bebop, if you like John Wick, you can take a look at that.
It looks sick.
I'm going to be watching it tonight, hopefully. But yeah, and that dude really, really helped me get a much better idea of like what I need to shoot for. And then I took some other courses as well with a lot of big voice. Todd Habercorn, I once took one with him. I took some more with Kiba and shoot, Jonathan Rigg, who's a director, and then a lot of them got to directors, and then eventually I was just told I was doing very well, and I was like, well, I don't, if I'm doing so well, why am I not in anime? And, which was a little egotistic, but because my idea at the time was like, look, I don't want to be told I'm good. I want to know what I can do to be better. But if you keep telling me, oh, you're amazing, that doesn't help me. Like I know I'm not as good as you say I am. Like I know I can do better, but I think that was a bit of a confidence thing. And nowadays I will still be very concerned about how to improve, but I've learned to trust what I give, because a director's not fixing to make me look stupid, or because they're just not. They're not fixing to do that. That's their name on it. That's my name on it. They're not fixing to do that to me. If they like what they got, we're doing well. So I've learned to trust my work a lot more.
Yeah. So what was a moment during your career where it kind of made you go, I'm doing something amazing here?
I think that moment was probably with Red. It's probably with Red because it went a little beyond me, which is the reason why I do this. I mean, I think about the stuff that inspired me to do what I do now, and the shows and media that have inspired me, and the things I love, performances and stories, and to see me become a part of that, I think was really the switch. I've gotten messages from friends and fans that they've told me that they watch this show with their son, and like it's been like a couple, but that doesn't matter to me. Like I hear that and I go, and they love it. They're like, we love the show, and it's like that's like someone's childhood, bro. Because I have too many actors that I'm like, you're my child. I just met over the weekend. I was at WeebCon, and I met Jacob Hopkins, who
Okay, yeah.
he voices Gumball, and I was like, dude, you like, I grew up watching you. And then he goes, well, I grew up watching it as well. So it's like, I watched the show too. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So to become sort of beyond myself and into other people's inspirations of, what they can do and what they can become and grow into, I think is really what set the switch for me. I used before that, I thought it was mainly about me. I was like, this dude, I can't believe I just did this, and it's like you got to take some pride in that. But I think with pertaining to your question, I do think that was with Red, and I think once I saw kind of it extending beyond me, I is where I was. I don't know, just had a sort of newfound respect for what I'm doing. And that's kind of how I think about the future of my career, of like what I do and how I go about it.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that. That's so cool.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's a wild thing to be told.
Yeah. There's, I understand the holy shit kind of like, I had a voice actor that I've grew up with be like, yeah, I listened to your show. And I was like, what? I was like,
yeah.
I was like, huh? I was like, me? I'm just a little guy. What are you talking about? Stop it. I was like, my God. But yeah, so what has been the kind of hardest lesson that you've learned since becoming a voice actor?
I think the hardest lesson has been it would certainly not be like straight related to voice acting, but I think just learning to be mighty cautious. Um both in the things that you do and say, and I've always been like that, but certainly to the level of like, well, you're not a celebrity, and I don't consider myself any sort of celebrity. I would never go around saying that. Not a microslip, nothing like that. I would not call myself that. But I represent a brand. I represent Crunchyroll, and I need to understand that and do that and represent them well.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest lesson for me has just been like, just remember that, and have that in your mind at all times. Because there's just so many things in life that can overwhelm you, especially if you do really well. Like if you do really well and you're just like, oh, you're going to conventions left and right and you're fucking making it, like you might get a little outpaced and you don't understand that, hey, like slow it, not so much slow it down, but just realize like, hey, you need to be sure you're representing appropriately, at all times. But I think most actors would at the very least probably not say that out loud, but certainly they know what I'm talking about. They know what I'm talking about, but I think that's been the hardest lesson. And if I was to give an answer that's more of the actor related side, would be patience.
Okay.
Big patience within. Your time's gonna come. Especially you keep your nose to the ground, do good work. Learn, keep trying to be better. Your time will come, and that lesson I would say came a little quicker for me, of just being patient with it, especially when you hit a dry season where you're not getting anything. That's okay. Takes a minute. It takes a minute. Not everyone gets to be their first lead in their very first show. Like, and some people it does. Like some people it happens to them, and they they knock it out. The first person I think of off the top of my head is Marissa Duran, who voices Hori from Horimiya, as well as I'm not going to remember the name off the top of my head, but they're the main character in Hell's Paradise. I haven't seen all of Hell's Paradise.
Sagari, that's it.
Yeah, Sagari.
Yeah,
and they do a slew of other things, but it's like that was their first role, was Hori.
yeah. Wow.
Not everyone gets that.
That's crazy.
And they were amazing in it. Like
Yeah.
that is probably, if not my favorite role of theirs, was Horimiya. Especially into the second season. It's crazy.
So good.
Marissa's amazing. Marissa
Mhm.
is a just phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, it's that patience thing, is like, you just got, I always say this: why the rush? Why are we rushing?
Yeah. Yeah. So, besides JoJo and besides Fairy Tale, what is one series? It could be done, it could be in the past, it could be new. Which one would you love to work on?
Okay, I can't say that. Probably Blue Lock.
Okay,
and it's okay. To be fair, I am in Blue Lock. I was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was in episode Nagi, and I played a character named Nemato Sota, who is on Team V with Nagi and Reo and Zantetsu. He doesn't really do much, he's a background character. That's his thing, right? But I would love to really, really put my spin in Blue Lock. I love soccer, and it's kind of goofy, but this show is what really got me into that got me into soccer.
Okay.
And yeah, I didn't care about sports anime. Like I've never even seen Haikyuu, which I know is like sacrilegious.
Bruh,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
sacrilege. I'm in Haikyuu too, by the way. I play on the Nekoma team, and I haven't seen it.
Oh
I've seen the movie though.
Yeah,
it's
of
great.
course. Yeah.
It was great. But after I watched Haikyuu, the dumpster battle, because that was what I was in, I was like, I need to watch Haikyuu. This is actually really good. But yeah, Blue Lock, I didn't really care about soccer. I love sports. I like playing them. I don't like watching them.
Yeah.
Except for soccer.
Okay.
I love it. I'm a big Bayern Munich fan now.
Oh, okay.
Thanks to Benjamin Stegmaier, by the way. That's his fault. And you know, I seeing what soccer means to people, you know, I it's the same thing with Blue Lock and what it means to me and what it means to so many other people as well. And a new, like, the idea of how they use the word ego, which is like typically a negative connotation, and even in the show is depending on how you look at it, yeah, it's still a negative connotation.
Yeah.
I don't see it like that. I think it's just the balancing of how you're gonna actually use said ego versus how you talk to people. I think that's the big thing. Like when you're doing what you love to do, have some ego to it, a little bit, right? It's I mean, don't talk to people like they're trash. I just mean, like, take some pride in what you're doing, and don't back down from it. Because if you do, you give suboptimal performances, especially as a voice actor. Like if you go in and you're nervous as shit and you don't know if you're gonna be able to give what they want, maybe you will. I hope you do, but take some pride in what you're doing. And and if a director hits you with, hey, that's not quite, that's okay. We'll do another take. We'll get it done. We're going to get it done. And it's the same in life. Like I work out, and I'm a tiny guy. I'm small. Like I think the most I've ever weighed is 173, and that was when I was on a bulk and was seriously like working out. But I'm like 5'10", right? And so I'm a pretty toothpicky guy. And when I go into the gym, I mean, there's always someone much bigger than me, but I mean, I don't care. Like I'm in there to be better, lift heavier, get in, you know. But yeah, I would say Blue Lock is certainly the show. It's the show, man. I want to be a part of it much more. I just love it way too much.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, thank you so much for being on.
Yeah,
of course.
100%.
Where can the lovely people find you?
They could find me on a couple of things, but they could find me on Twitter /X at what is my ad again? Ethan CVO. Link in the description, and and as well as Instagram, which should just be Ethan C.VO, right? And then I'm starting a TikTok. I have one. I'm gonna start advertising on it. But anyways, eventually, if you just follow me on those two things, you'll start to see that. But just for now, we'll just stick with those two things. Is where you can find me. But yeah, you can find me and see how much Red Ranger shit I always retweet, because I either retweet Red Ranger stuff that I see that Japan has been making, or stuff that the Seiyu retweets. That's Tomiya-san, and for Tomiya, that is his first like named role.
Oh wow.
He's been a voice actor for a second, but like he's only done like bits and background stuff. This was his first role and his first lead, and he's done amazing.
I love that.
It was phenomenal. I loved his performance.
100%. But yeah, you can follow me at Corky Cosplays on Instagram, Adam Corky everywhere else. You can subscribe to the Patreon. You get early access to episodes. There's my cat just ruining the thank you so much. You get the episodes a day early, as well as exclusive videos. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.